G'day, welcome back to another episode of Togl. Hope you've had a great week. What I need to do today is get these posts into the ground. By the way, at the end of last episode I didn't have any trouble getting up out of the block. The rain had eased off for a couple of hours and the paddock wasn't that boggy, so I got straight out thankfully. But as I said, yeah, I want to get these posts in. I need to dig some of the holes a little bit wider. I've dug them a little too narrow, just by a little bit, so I just need to clean those holes up a little, get these posts in, then I can go and bring some of those slabs down and start putting the slabs in to build this up. Once it's built, obviously then I've got to start off by, I'll be putting in some logs and branches and then a bit of sawdust and hay all in the bottom. Then some soil, this red soil you can see here, we've got a lot of that around in piles. I'll be putting red soil in, and then for probably the final 6 to 8 inches we've got some really good black soil up under the trees, up on the top of the hill there. So it's going to take a few runs with the tractor, but I want to get some of that really good topsoil in onto the top. That should make a really good medium for growing all of our veggies in. Anyway, enough talking, I've got to get into it. Okay, well, the last two you probably can't see, they're probably off screen. I didn't realise that, but I've got all 6 in, and now I need to go get the tractor, bring some slabs down. Tractor, I realised there's no way I'm going to get through that gate with big slabs of wood across the bucket on the tractor. So I've just loaded them, manhandled them into the back of the Triton, and that way I can bring them in as close as I can because they are pretty heavy. And I've still got 3 more up there, but I thought I had enough weight in the back of the car. So I'm going to grab some stuff and tape measure, sawhorse, start getting this cut up and get the drills and bolts and get them screwed on. Now I've just run this string line here because I'd like to make it level. I don't want it sloping. I want to keep the dirt at the right height, at the right level, sorry, so that the water doesn't run off as much. And there is a substantial fall here, as you can see. So what it means is, the very first row of boards that I put in along here, I'm going to cut them at an angle to get it level, and then the rest can just be, you know, equal, perfectly parallel edged planks that I can continue up. Now I'm not going to obviously go all the way up to the top here. We'll probably go into probably around about there, just a little under a little under my hip height, more of Kay's hip height. And the theory is that should be able to stand, bend at the waist and lean in and get to around about the middle on both sides, and that way we can reach. Don't have to bend at the knees, just bend at the back a bit, make gardening a lot easier. Especially these things are going to be here for a good 20 years or more, and we're not getting any younger, so we want to make sure that we make our gardening as easy as possible. So I'll put that first plank in up the end there. Now I need to get these measured up. Now this is a 6 metre span. My planks aren't 6 metres, but they are probably around about the 4 metre mark. So what it means is I can actually, that's why I've got this centre post, it'll be 2-3 metres. I was contemplating with the idea of actually just running in a full 4 and then putting a little piece on the end using a spacer or like a joiner to join them, but I don't think I will. It's probably going to be more secure if I just go with 3 metres. Have, one plank come to there and screw in, and the other plank come to there and screw in. That's how we'll get it done. So first things first though, I now need to measure up a plank and get back to cutting. That saw is fantastic. That's the first time I've used that saw. I got that for Father's Day, and yeah, no, it cuts beautifully. Battery operated, which is fantastic for up here. So I'll go and get that sorted out. Once I've got them cut, I'll turn the camera back on and I'll show you how I'm screwing them in. What I'm using is these galvanised bolts with a washer on the end just to help hold that in there. So I've got the right size drill for pre-drilling the hole, ratchet drill with the right size socket on the end, and I've also got the actual socket handle in case sometimes it gets a little tight right at the end and I need to give it a bit extra with that. So I'll remove this string now, get this on, and we'll get it screwed in there. Now, I'm not sure if the microphone's picking up that noise in the background. The creek might be drowning it out a bit, but they're harvesting potatoes just up the back there, so there's a lot of machinery noise going on. Now that I've got this other one cut, exactly the same measurements as that one, because technically it should be the same. Just need to get it put in. The sun's already gone down behind the hill, so I think I'll do this and be calling it a day. But let's get it on. Perfect. Time to go home, I reckon. That's a Not a bad effort just for 2 hours this afternoon. I thought I'd pop up here and get a little bit done. Try and make a full day of it tomorrow though. And we'll have this done. Well, spring is well and truly kicking into gear. It's about 5 p.m. and I just had a phone call from a real estate agent. One of their tenants has rung up to say that there's a bee swarm at their house. My number's down on the list of swarm catchers on the northwest coast, so they've given me a call. Fantastic. So this will be the first swarm for the season if I manage to get there in time. It's about 30 minutes away in a little town called Forth. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as I hit the coast, which is only like 30 seconds from home, and I can see whales frolicking just off the coast. Had I had my drone and had time, I could have easily had the drone out over the top and filmed those whales. But this is more urgent. I've got to go and try and catch these bees. So I'm just scooting along the Bass Highway, making a beeline, pun intended, for Forth. And let's see if I can't catch this swarm. Fingers crossed they're still there when I get there and we can catch them and get one of those hives populated. This will be a great start to the season if we do. Well, we're getting close. We're only a couple of minutes off. We're in this little town called Forth. It's 5:30, so we've got about an hour of light left. Now this actually works really well because it means that if it's not a swarm and it's actually a colony that's just become very active and the people have only just noticed it from that, all of the worker bees that have been out foraging should be coming back, and almost all back, which means we'll get the whole colony. If it is a new swarm that's just found its house today, then all the bees will be there, and then that works well too. So we will see how we go. But yeah, I've got about an hour before it starts getting dark to try and get this wrapped up if they're still there. And I will know that in just a few minutes. Well, that is definitely a big swarm. I saw some of the footage that the people there took. Thousands and thousands of bees all swarming around, but by the time I got there, there was only a couple because they were all inside the wall. Problem is that wall is double brick. So I've had to make a call to the real estate agent. They're going to need to talk to the landlord because it's going to involve me knocking out probably a dozen bricks in their wall to get in and get those bees out. So it's going to be a challenge to get those bees out tomorrow, but they're going to have to come out. Otherwise they're going to cause an even bigger issue. Because they're new, it's good. It won't mean that the wall's full of honeycomb or anything, so it should be pretty simple once I'm in there just to get the bees out without much mess. So that'll be good. So now I'll head back home and wait to hear from the real estate agent, see what they want to do, and if they're happy, I'll come back in the morning, and it's going to be quite the evolution. I'm guessing it's going to take at least half the day, and maybe
0455 3380 98 calling.
I better get
answer
that phone
or
call.
reject.
And that was the real estate agent, so they got back to me real quick, and the landlord's more than happy for me to take some bricks out so that we can remove those bees. So first thing tomorrow morning, I'll be back on the road again. We'll come back across here and we'll get to work getting those bees out. I'm pretty sure they're still going to be there. I don't think they've just rested up overnight. I reckon they're going to make their home in there because it's a pretty good location that they had. So tomorrow I'll get set up, I'll get the cameras set up, and we'll see how we go. Could be really interesting, might be a load of laughs. Depends on what happens. Let's hope that I have better success than the last time I tried to get some bees out of that tree. Remember that? Got stung all over the face. We do not want a repeat of that again. So I'll be taking all precautions tomorrow. But for now, I'll get home, put my feet up, rest up, and get ready for tomorrow. I'll see you then. Well, as I came in around the garden, I knew they were still here. I could hear them before I got to them. They're buzzing quite loudly. So they're very active this morning, but they're still here. So yeah, I'll get all geared up and we'll start the process of trying to get these little guys and girls, mainly girls, out of here. we're just going to give them a little bit of smoke, and that'll calm them down a little bit, I hope. And then I need to prune some of this bush away, then we can start on the brickwork. Okay, that first brick was definitely the hardest to get out. Well, I'm hoping it was the hardest. It's the only one I got out so far, but I had to break it up to get it out. And it looks like they're going through that shielding and into the next part of the wall cavity, so that could be a huge challenge. But I think what I need to do now is take out a couple more bricks so that I can have a really good look in there. I thought it was asking a bit much to have them located really close, but we'll see. I knew I'd have to probably end up with about a dozen bricks out anyway to recover them all, so let's get a few more out. Okay, that footage that you just saw, I used the GoPro with this light on. Thanks Shane for that one. To go into the cavity and look, and it looks like they're all right up in this top right corner here somewhere. So I'll take out a couple more bricks heading up the wall and see what we can see there. I reckon that's where they all are though, and if they're all clustered there, that's where the queen will be. The queen's the main one that we've got to get. Doesn't look like it's a huge swarm though, interestingly, but that could be because a lot are probably headed out for the day to forage. So we'll see how we go with them. But back to getting more bricks out is proving quite the challenge because this place is built really well. Now, one of the things I can do is tether my GoPro to my phone so I can look on the screen and film in the cavity, which is what I'm going to do now. Get a better look. And as you can see, that is definitely where they all are. So, I'm going to have to remove some bricks from up the top here, unfortunately. I was hoping to go down, but I'll have to remove some from up. The one thing I've noticed too with these bees, and I'm really keen about it, is that I'm not getting swarmed. None of them have tried to sting me yet. I'm thinking these might be a really passive hive, which would be great because it's all generated by the queen. So if this is a really calm queen, I could breed more really good queens and replace that real narky one that I've got up at the block if I can get these out. But it looks like there's a lot of bees up there. So yeah, I'm going to need to remove a few more bricks now and then we'll get these guys out. Alright, so I've just smoked them up again. Now I was thinking about this last night, and what I've done is I fashioned up out of an old cordial bottle a scoop that's hopefully narrow enough to fit up, and I can just scoop the bees off in clumps and then put them into this box that I've taped up but made a little flap for, so that I can give them a little trapdoor there and get the bees in. The biggest issue is going to be if I drop the queen. If the queen drops into the bottom of the wall somewhere, then that's going to be an issue. I mean, she will crawl back up, but the bees will keep trying to come back up to her. So I've really got to make sure, and I really hope, that I get the queen in the scoop into the box. If the queen goes into the box, then all the other bees will come to this box. So that's the plan. Let's see how we go. Things are changing a little. I can actually smell the pheromone they give off when they attack. They don't look like they're stinging, but they're definitely a lot more defensive, because now I'm really stirring up that lot. I can feel them up there. It's so soft. What I might do is go get my brush to brush these guys off. Trying to do is, there's a sill up here, so I'm like just scraping, trying to scrape them off without hurting them, so they all drop in. Trying to be very gentle about it. That may have been where the queen was. There was a lot of bees there. A lot of bees. Now one just managed to get me right on the knuckle, right through both the glove and the... I've got leather gloves on under this as well. Only just touched though. Okay, bit of smoke to calm them down. I need to let them all regather and then scoop some more out and see how we go. Then what I might need to do is, if I know I've got the queen in the box, I can put a little hole in the box, put the box up here, they'll start going in and out to the queen, because the others will signify, they'll signal out to the others where the queens are. Now I don't know how well this will show up on the camera, especially if it's not focusing in correctly, but the back of my hand is absolutely covered in stings. Let's see if I can get this to focus a bit better. No, I can't, not without taking my gloves off, so I think that's probably out of focus because it says it's focusing up there somewhere. But yeah, covered in stings, which is what happens when you stick your hand into a beehive. So kids, don't do that. Okay, I'm pretty sure I've got the queen, because, and yeah, as you can see, what I've done is I've propped my ladder up here, and then I've put the box there, and I just cracked this flap. I cracked it just enough for the bees to fit in and out. And all the bees, I'll get the GoPro and show you a bit closer, but all the bees are coming in, landing and crawling in and going down in. That's a really good sign that the queen is in there. The bees wouldn't be going in there unless all the others were signaling, hey, the queen's in here, come on in. So now I just get to hang around for an hour or so and let as many of these bees go into there as we can, and then we should be good. And I'll do another quick check of the inside of the wall as well, pick up any stragglers that are up there, but hopefully these ones that are out here near the doorway, which I'll show you in a minute, you'll see them. They've got their backsides up in the air and they're fanning their wings, they're fanning out a pheromone. Hopefully that pheromone drifts, spreads up into the wall. The bees in the wall will go up, our queen's down there now, and they'll come on down too. So I'll just grab the GoPro, I'll film a little bit of this action, and then yeah, like I said, I'm going to hang around for an hour or so, wait for this to all calm right back down again, and yeah, get the bees. I think, so far I don't want to speak too soon, so I won't. I won't say anything right now. So I've just put a little hole in the corner as well, and the bees are flocking to that corner to get in, which is good. I was counting how many going in and how many going out. It's about an average of 10 to 1, 10 in, 1 out, which is really good. Well, that's the majority of the bees. I'd have to say there's a good 90-95% of the bees are in here. We're never going to get 100% of the bees. I've been checking the wall, it's been an hour or so, and there's very few going into the wall now. They're all coming in and out of this hole here. So I'm now going to pack up, seal off this box, and then shoot straight up to the block and get them into a beehive. There are a few still flying around without a queen. They're not going to go and resettle in that wall. So they may fly off and try and find other hives to join. Apparently that is something they'll do, or they may end up dying, but it's only a small amount of them anyway. Like I said, we can't wait around forever. We'll never get 100% of them anyway. So yeah, pack up and I'll see you guys up at the block. Okay, we've made it up to the block. It's imperative that I get these bees as quickly as I can into here now so that they don't overheat. So I've got the box at my feet, I'll quickly get my jacket on and then we'll get the bees in. So these are going into one of our top bar hives, and we're going to try and get the top bars populated. Now what I should have done is taken the tape off before I put my glove on. Oh no, there's a corner. Okay, so the plan is to pour them out the way that I put them in. And I may need to open this up a whole lot more, I think, to get them out. Now I'll just leave this one bar out to give them all a chance to get back in. Get the last few in here together. Okay, so with them all put in now, I had taped up the holes at the front, but now I can untape those holes so that they can start accessing through the main access point. They should see the daylight through those holes now. They'll come out the front, start the fan to attract the rest in. I'm just going to get back out of the way for a while, let them settle down and see what happens, and I'll just keep an eye on these over the course of the next few days. Well, it's only been a few minutes and they're already swarming around into the front, which is really good to see. What I didn't realise, and you might have picked up on it from that previous bit of video, I didn't realise how many bees I had on the back of my head and on my back until I moved as I walked away, and I heard quite a lot of buzzing, and then it stopped, and I just tapped like that and heard a lot of buzzing and it stopped. So I thought I'll come down here and get the brush and I'll just brush over my head like this and over my back, and there was just a cloud of bees. I couldn't believe how many had been sitting on me, and I'd walked all the way over to the shed and back again. But I think they're all pretty much off me now. There's not many flying out and around, so they're all calming down, getting into where they need to be. I'm just going to move the camera and I'm going to show you them all around the entrance. Alright, well, as you can see behind me, there's hardly any bees up and flying around at the moment. There's a few, but the majority of them are settling back down onto the hive, or as you just saw, they're going inside through that hole at the front, which is fantastic to see. So for now, it looks like this was a success in getting my first hive. I can say my first hive was my fourth hive. Sorry, I should rephrase that. I can say my first swarm capture was my fourth swarm capture because I caught them in the town of Forth. I love my dad jokes. Anyway, so yes, my first fourth swarm captured in the hive. Let's hope that they like it, and over the next few days they settle in and start to make comb and establish themselves in there. Because as I said, they do seem like they are very calm bees, considering everything I've just put them through. Yeah, amazing. Compared to all those little beaches over the back there, all I got to do is crack the lid on them. They swarm out all over me. So yeah, pretty good. They're a really nice bee, these ones, I think. I've been very lucky to get them. Fingers crossed that they stay. I'll keep you updated on that. I'm going to leave these go now and let them calm down and get back to their own thing. Well, it's the next morning and I've come up to check the bees. Now, the normal beehive over there that we've had for quite some time, they're really busy and active. There's bees everywhere. There is zero sign of movement here this morning on these, so I don't know whether this morning they all up and left. I know they'd all settled in last night. I had a look just on dusk. They had all formed a big ball and they were in there. So it could be that they're just busy trying to build up some comb and get things established, you know, setting up house before they start going out to forage. I don't know. So I'm really not sure what I'm going to see in here. I'm dreading that they might all be gone, but I'm hoping that's not going to be the case. If they are here, I've actually got a container and some sugar water, and so I'm going to put that in there so that they've at least got some food to get going. They're not just relying on their reserves, just to really help them out. But let's get kitted up and we will have a look and see what's going on in there. Good news, they're still all in there by the look of it. I will get the camera and show you. So what I'm going to do is I've got a container here, just a Chinese food container that's full of sticks. I'll put the sugar water into that and then I'm going to slip that in there for them. I'm not sure why they're not active. It's the first time I've ever captured a swarm. So, but like there's heaps of bees in there. They're still alive, but none of them are flying, none of them are moving around scurrying. They're just all hanging in big blobs. So I'll have to do a bit of research and see. But anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. Let me get this gear off here. So, I hope you've enjoyed this episode and seeing how I go out and capture a swarm. Over the coming weeks I'll keep you updated as to how these go. In the very next video we'll know whether they've survived, because yeah, they're very sluggish at the moment. I'm hoping that sugar water helps give them a bit of a sugar rush and get going with things, and maybe as it warms up as well. They've certainly had a big couple of days. You've got to remember that when these bees fly away to create a new hive, they basically take what they can carry and that's it. They've got no honeycomb made, they've got no reserves of pollen or honey or nectar or anything. So it must be a really big deal for them to be able to do that. Anyway, we'll see how they go. So, I hope you had a great week, and I hope you have a great weekend this weekend. Good week next week. Take care, stay safe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. We'll get some more work done over in the veggie patch, getting the raised garden beds done. Alright, take care. Cheers.